My name is Pat Iyer, and I have with me today Mariann Cosby, who is one of the speakers at our October 27, 28, and 29, 2022 Legal Nurse Consulting online conference. This is the sixth conference that Barbara Levin and I have planned called LNC Success Conference. And I invited Mariann to be one of our panel speakers. She's an experienced legal nurse consultant and author who's given a lot to her profession and a lot to the field of legal nurse consulting. And Mariann, I think I've known you, I would say probably at least 15 years, maybe 20 years. It could be longer. You've always come to the conferences and I've always seen you
Yeah.
sitting and listening and participating.
Yeah, it seems like it. Time flies when you're having fun, right? As they say. I remember actually having a picture with you and one of the presidents at the conference. I think it was in Charlotte, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I know we knew each other quite a while before that. So it's probably been about, at least 15, 20 years, something like that.
Yes. And in that time, can you tell our viewer what type of legal nurse consulting do you do?
Well, actually, the bulk of my career has been, and I've been doing what I consider legal nurse consulting for about the last between 30 and 35 years. And most of my experience has been as an expert witness. I started my business in 1991, so somebody else can do the math. And most of the time, I was retained as an expert witness in medical malpractice cases for many, many years. And then over time, and this is part of one of the tips I'm going to give you in the panel that we have at the conference, is to kind of think in terms of the short term and the long term. So for a long time, I was just really kind of in the short term mode, working on medical malpractice cases. And then I started thinking about, what can I do for the long term? What's going to be kind of like the short ball and long ball? And I hope to expand on that in the conference in October to give you ideas of where to set your sights on for the long term while still achieving your short-term goals in the short term.
I know that we could give you 8 hours, Mariann, and you wouldn't run out of things to say about this. You've got so much experience and have seen this field from different angles. I know that you've done expert witness work, but what is your role now in terms of the financial piece? What services do you offer?
Sure. Yeah. Well, I still do some, med mal. In fact, I was just working on a huge case for the last month. But a lot of my expertise is in nurse life care planning or life care planning. And I develop life care plans for both for plaintiff or review and critique life care plans that have been produced by the plaintiff life care planner, and I work for the defense. And then another avenue I've pursued is the medical bill review. So that's really looking at the past medical bills, and it's really important in these personal injury cases for the plaintiff and for the defense to understand if the bills are what they call reasonable. So using my life care planning expertise, I have created another niche or just pursued that path in order to provide expert witness reviews and reports on medical billing.
Mm-hmm. And keeping track of all those details, particularly the medical billing piece, is so important for especially plaintiff attorneys in determining what their demand will be to make sure that medical bills are covered. The defense is making sure that they're not paying for extraneous care unrelated to the injury that resulted in the litigation. What a phenomenally important role for attorneys on both sides.
Yes. And in addition to that, a lot of these cases have what they call the providers have billed on what they call a lien. So they're not producing bills that go through the insurance company, but they're creating bills and they give them to the attorneys. And Sometimes they're pretty inflated. So that's the other element and role that I play, is to look at, are these really reasonable bills? Are they, at the upper end of the range? And I generally allow the attorneys to kind of figure out, well, is that, not that it's not reasonable, but to determine whether that is something that they want to fly with in their case, in their negotiations. But I try to be very straightforward and use a standard methodology, which I could go into further in September, or I'm sorry, October. But stick with my methodology, and so that way I'm credible regardless of whether I'm on the plaintiff's side or whether I'm working with the defense.
Yes. Yes. I know that there's so much that you can share, and you will be sharing. The person who's watching this video, I'm talking to you. You have an opportunity to join us October 27, 28, and 29, 2022 by going to this link right below the video, which is lnc.tips/October 2022 virtual. There's no spaces in any of these words. lnc.tips/October 2022 virtual. You can grab your seat. And if you're watching this video after the conference is over, go to that link so that you can invest in the recordings. We would love to have you there. And you can have an opportunity to ask Mariann questions, as well as ask questions of the other speakers, who include attorneys, legal nurse consultants, business experts, marketing experts. And I'll be sharing some content on video marketing that you can use to get ahead of 97% of other legal nurse consultants in terms of drawing attention to you and your skills. Be sure to sign up for the conference, and we would love to see you there. Thanks so much, Mariann.
Thank you for asking me.